Good evening, everyone. So today we are going to learn very basics of R for image processing. So before you start, you should have R and R Studio both installed in your system. And this is open source software, so you can easily download from internet and you can install in your system. So once you open the R Studio in the system, so you will get this kind of interface. So there is some additional benefits of RStudio over R. It comes with a better user-friendly interface. So once you open the RStudio, you will get this kind of interface. So at the left-hand side, you can see this is the console area, and on the right-hand side, you have the environment, history, or connection. On the lower right side, you can have plots or packages or some other options are there. So we will gradually see what are the benefits of such tool, such your options. So we will start with opening a new script. So where you can write your own script and you can save it for later use. So to open a new script, you can go to File, New File, and R script. So we are having our script area, so we can write our code here and we can save it for later use. And once you have written a code, you can run that particular line or number of lines using the run button, or you can use the control enter option. And in the console area, you can get the output and the figures. You will get the lower right portion of the viewer. So I have a code written already. So I'll open that, and to open the existing written code, you can use this open button. So I'm opening my existing code. So before we start, we should have some pre-installed packages, or if it is not installed in your system, if it is a new installation of R and RStudio. So you can install the required packages, like we will be mostly using the raster and RGTAL package in our exercise. So the basic way of installing a package is we have to write install.packages, and within bracket, within double inverted comma, you should write the name of the package. So you have to be careful with the lowercase and uppercase. So my cursor is on line number 2. So if I press on run, so it will install the package raster. And if you add a hashtag symbol in the initial of a line, so it will act as a comment. So to install this package raster, I have selected, my cursor is on line number 2, and I will run. So if it is installed, so you will get one type of message, and if it is not installed, so you will get a different kind of message. So you need to be connected with the internet to install these packages. It will take some time to install the packages for you. So basically you can consider these packages as a tool which have multiple options. So you can utilize the different functions available in these packages for their proper use. So similarly we will install this RGTAL package. So you can see this package raster successfully unpacked and some check, so it indicates that this package have been installed in your system. So once the raster and RGTAL packages have been installed, so you have to add them before you use. So to add, you can use the function library, within bracket you have to name the package. So this raster package we will be using for handling the raster data, and the rgtal packages we will be using for handling the vector data. So you have to write library within bracket raster. I will run this line, and then so once you run the line, so the cursor will automatically come down to the next line. So again you run the line number 8. So once these packages have been added in the R, so now we will be adding one Landsat data in R. So how to use a how to add a Landsat data? So basically you should know the location of the particular data, and the data you have to assign it to a particular variable. So you can use any letters or any name as a variable. So here we are using a as a variable, and this less than dash symbol we will be using to assign particular data or any numerical values to a variable. So here in my case the data is located in this particular path, and this is the file name. So let us see how you can add a data. So let me remove this entire line. I will add it once again. So I will add the raster in variable a, and this less than dash symbol we will use to assign the particular raster in this particular variable. So here we will start with adding a Landsat 5 data. So here I have downloaded a Landsat 5 tile, and you can see the different bands. So better I will visualize these bands into details so that we can get the name very easily. So this is the Landsat band 1, and then again band 2, band 3, band 4. So you knowing this band 1 corresponds to blue band, then band 2 green, then band 3 red, and band 4 near infrared, then short wave infrared 1, band 6 thermal infrared, band 7 short wave infrared 2, then one quality control band, this MTL file, some other files are there. So we will not go into the detail of this particular Landsat data. So let us start with adding this band number 1. So if you click here, so you will get the address of this particular files. So I will copy this. So within double inverted comma I will paste the path, and this backslash I will replace with forward slash, and at the end I can add the name of a particular band, which band I want to add. So let us start with band number 1. So I'm just copying this name of this particular band number 1. I have copied it, then I paste it here, and I have to add the file type, which is TIFF. So if I now run this particular line, so it is added. If you check this particular variable a, so you can see the file name with its path. So this particular file, we know this is a raster data, but we have to assign this file into raster using this command raster. So if we use this particular function raster, and we are assigning into one more variable a1, so then this particular file which is stored in a, it will be converted into a raster data, or will be treated as a raster data, and that will be represented by the variable a1. So, and if you want to know about this particular function raster, so you can use this double question mark followed by the particular function, and you can get to know the details of this particular function. So if you run this line number 15, so you will get a summary of this particular functions. I will not go into the details of that. So let us assign this variable a as a raster into variable a1. So as I have assigned the variable as a raster in a1, so if I now run this a1, so if you want to check what contains in a1, either you can select this particular portion and you can run. In that case, it will only run the selected portion, or if you want a separate one, so in that case you can write a1 and you can run that particular line. So if I run this line number 17, so it shows the basic details of this particular raster data. So you can see the class, it is a raster data, the dimension, number of row, column and total number of cells, and its spatial resolution 30 meter by 30 meter. Its extension, basically here we are having the Landsat data in UTM projection. So you can see the x minimum, x maximum, y minimum and y maximum, and then followed by you will get the projection and the particular file source, the entire path and file name, and again the file name is there separately, and you can get the minimum and maximum values, which is 0 to 255 as it is a 8-bit data. So this way you can add a raster data and that you can convert into a raster by assigning to a particular variable. So now if you want to directly add the raster data as a raster data to a particular variable, so you can use this following command. So before I run this line number 19, I have to set the path, or you can use the previous path. So let us copy this particular portion, the path of that file. I will paste it here. So here you can see we have added the path followed by a data. So here I am adding band number 4, which is near infrared band, and when I am adding this particular data into R, that time only I am declaring it as a raster. So here this band number 4 on near infrared band will be added as variable A4 and that will be treated as raster. So if I run this line number 19, and again if I check the variable A4, so you can again get the data details as number of rows, column, resolution, extent, and then the projections, minimum, maximum values, so on. So now if I have to plot the data, you can use this function plot. If you want details, you can again use the question mark plot. So let us plot this variable A4. So simply you can write plot, and within bracket you can write the variable you want to plot. So here we are going to plot the near infrared band. So in the environment section you can see the variables which have been added and its corresponding file. So here if I run this line number 22, so it will plot this particular raster data to the plot area. So you can see the maximum minimum values. So basically this region belongs to the east coast of India in Odisha state. So if you want to get the dimension separately, you can use this function dim followed by the variable. You can get the dimension. Basically it gives the number of rows, number of column and number of layers. So now if I have to add all the bands at a time, so how we can do that? So before that, what we will do, we will set a particular directory, if we want to work in a particular directory for a longer time, so we can set the input output directory. So you can use this function set wd. This is the function to set the working directory, and then followed by the path. I am using the same path as I have used in the above lines. So now you can see this is the working directory, and if you want to know the path at any time, you can use this function get wd. So you can see the current working directory. Now we will add number of raster layers which are having the same extension of TIFF. So this is one way of adding bulk data. There are several ways. So in this particular way, so here I am using the bands as the variable. So all the bands which will be added in this particular variable bands. So here we will be using this function list.files, and the pattern equals to with double inverted comma .tiff. So basically what it will do, it will add all the tiff file which are there in this particular folder. So if I run this line number 35, it will create a list of files. So I have run this particular line 35, and if I check what it contains in bands, so I will get the list of it. So you can see there are 8 files that also contains this band number 6, which is thermal band, and the quality control band. So we don't need this band number 6 and quality band. So, and now if you have to select one particular band, so how we can select particular band from a list of bands? So if let's say if we have to add or select the band number 2, which is currently in the sequence of 2. So if I write bands within third bracket, 2 times third bracket, second bracket, if we write 2, so from the list it will select the second layer. So you can see this band number 2, which is coming in the second layer in the band list, it has been added. So if you want to assign that particular band into a variable, so you can easily assign them using this way. If I select this portion band 2 and run, we will get this band number 2. If you want to declare as raster, you can also do that here. And if you check this particular variable, we will get it in raster format. So now we will create a layer stack file from these bands. So basically if you want to create a layer stack of blue, green, red and near infrared band, so from this list you can see this band number 1, 2, 3, 4, which is our band blue, green, red and near infrared. And if you want to add other bands like short wave infrared 1 and short wave infrared 2, so you can add the other bands as well. So band number 5 and band number 7. So to create a layer stack image, we can use this function stack. So here I am using sfcc as the variable where I will create the layer stack image. So basically it will stack all these bands selected here. So now you can see in this sfcc been added in the environment, and if you check this particular variable, you can see in this case the number of dimension has been added by one more element. Now it is 6. So it is indicating the number of layers, which is currently 6. And you can see the names. It contains all the band names. Now if you want to again select any particular band, so you can use the variable name, and within double times second bracket you can write the band you want to see. Now if you want to again plot any particular variable, let us say we want to plot the band number 3 from this layer stack image. So in this layer stack image, the band number 3 corresponds to the red band. So you have to write plot within first bracket the variable and the layer you want to view. So now this is our red band. Now if you want to plot the RGB image, and if you want to visualize 3 bands at a time, in that case you have to use the function plot RGB. Within bracket you have to name the variable and followed by comma, and then you have to assign the bands you want to visualize in this composition. So here we are assigning the near infrared band, red band and green band. I now run it. So now you can see the standard false color composite image where we are using near infrared band as red, then red band as green and green band as in our blue channel. Now if you want to apply a stretch, like if you want to apply linear stretch, so you can use this function stretch within bracket equal to within comma you can write linear. So you can apply a linear stretch in this image, SFCC image. So if you want to details of this particular function, plot RGB, add a question mark, and you will get the details of this particular function, how you can utilize this particular function. So now if I have to save this SFCC image, I can use this particular function write raster. So here you have to be careful when you are adding a function. You have to be careful with the lowercase and uppercase. So here you can see in write raster, write is written in small, and for raster this R is capital. So you have to be very careful, and you can split a line into multiple lines if you want to. If you want to break a line, you can do that also. There is no issue. So in write raster, the very common things which you have to add is which variable you want to write or you want to store. So here we are storing the SFCC variable. The output name we want to keep as landsat5.tif. So here you have to add this double inverted comma, and then format we want a GeoTIFF file. That's why the format should be GeoTIFF, and data type. So I will discuss a bit about this data type just after a few minutes. And there is one more component, override, that is declared as true. So you can skip this particular function. So if you use this override equal to true, so if there is an existing file, so it will replace the previous one. So in that way you can use this override function. So if I check this particular function write raster, so here you can see on the right hand side here the data type. So how to define a particular data type, for which kind of data, which data type we should declare. So if you click on it, you will get a list of various data types. So here we are using the integer 1u. So basically it will save the data which are having values varying between 0 to 255. So if you have a 8-bit data, that indicates that we are having 256 level starting from 0 to 255. So if you are working on 8-bit data and if you want to store as 8-bit, you can use this data type. If you are working on 64-bit data, you want a signed data or unsigned data. Depending on that, you can use int2s for signed data. If you want unsigned data, you can use int2u. So basically 0 to 65,534 or 1 to 65,535. So this is basically a 16-bit data. So here, as we are working on Landsat 5 data, which is 8-bit data, so we are using int1u. So basically it will save in integer, unsigned integer 8-bit. So now if I run this, so it will save the SFCC as Landsat 5.tiv. So it will take some time to write the data. So once it is done, so now we will work on Landsat 8 data. So what is the basic difference between Landsat 5 and Landsat 8 data? So in case of Landsat 8 data, you will have a 16-bit data. So in that case, you have to change the data type into integer 2u, and again there will be differences in the band sequence. So again we will change our directory from Landsat 5 to Landsat 8. So this is the directory. We are changing this path. We will replace the backslash with forward slash. If I run this, then if I check get working directory, so you can see this time the path have been changed. So the advantage, the one advantage of RStudio is once you start writing a particular function, so it will give you suggestions. So that will help you to minimize your errors when you are running this R or you are writing a script. So again we will be adding the TIFF file. So if I run this particular line band.list.files pattern TIFF, so it will create a list of files which are having TIFF file format. Now I will not repeat this particular function. So let us just create a layer stack image and save it. So previously this code was written for Sentinel data, so I will replace now this band. So in Landsat 8 data, so now you can see there is a difference in the band sequence when we are adding a Landsat 8 data. So basically it will add the band 1 first and then band 10. Means it will not add the band 2 after band 1. Basically if it is band 01 and band 02, in that case it will add band 01 and 02 one by one. Otherwise it will add band 10 first, like 1 first, then 10, then 11, and then it will come to band 2. If you are having, let's say, band 21, so that band 21 will be added after band 2. So it will not follow the sequence as we use. So if you have to use add the band in that kind of sequence, so then you must have 0, 1 instead of only 1. In that case, your band 1, band 2 will be sequentially added. So here you can see this band 2 has been added as layer number 4, then band 3 layer number 5, then band 4 layer number 6, band 5, which is our near end part band in Landsat 8 data, has been added as layer number 7, and then band 6, band 7, band 8, band 9. So let us just add only 4 bands, or blue, green, red, and infrared. So now we are having layer number 4 as our blue band, layer number 5 as our green, layer number 6 as our red band, and layer number 7 as our near infrared band. So it is perfectly fine. So we will be using this function stack. If we run this particular line, it will create a layer stack image. If I check this file, so now you can see in this case we are having number of layers as 4, number of rows, columns, cell size. Now we can see the minimum and maximum values, which is now varies between 0 to 65,535. So basically this indicates it's a 16-bit data. Now you can use the same plot function to visualize a particular band. If you want to visualize a SFCC image, you can use this function plot RGB SFCC 432. So when we are creating the stacked image, in that case in bands it was the different layers. So once we have created the layer stacked image, now we are having only 4 layers. So in these 4 layers we are having the blue band as our layer number 1, green band as layer number 2, red band as layer number 3, and 4th band is our near infrared band. So if I want to plot the standard false color composite, so I can again use this same sequence as SFCC, port, 3, 2. So if I now run, so here we are getting an error. So this is basically indicating because of the minimum maximum values. So previously we are having 8-bit data. So in that case it was quite well with the software, but now as we are having the 16-bit data, so it is not able to visualize the entire range. So in that case we have to define the scale, which is now 65,535. So you have to use this function scale equals to, you have to give the maximum limit of it. So now if I run this, now the image is viewed in standard false color composite. Now again, if you want to apply a stretching, let's say linear stretching, so you can add this function stretch, and within inverted comma you can add the function linear, so it will linearly stretch the color. So now you can visualize the Landsat 8 data in standard false color composite, and again we will be saving this data using the same function write raster, and this time we have changed the data type into integer 2u. So basically it will save the data into 16-bit unsigned integer. So now if I run this line, so when R is busy, so you will get this kind of symbol. So it indicates R is busy, so it is performing the assigned task. So you have to wait until this red symbol goes off. So once it is saved, so this red symbol has been removed. Now if you want to add this data again, so let us check our folder. So you can see this is the data we have created. This is the layer stack image we have created just right now. So now if you want to add this data once again in R, you can use any particular variable. So let us use this L8 as the variable, and you have to use the function break. So if you use this function break, so it will treat the input data as a layer stacked raster. So within bracket we will write the name. So if I copy this, now just run this line, control enter. So now you can see this L8 has been added, and if you check this L8, so you can see this is a raster data with 4 number of layers. So now we will stop here.